That's it. Work, my little pretties. Help me build this factory. I think I've employed my first workers. And as they come into the final straight, it's Turtle 1 from Turtle 2, and coming up on the outside it's Turtle 3, who will be the first to finish. It's going to be a photo finish. Actually not, because this one's got another 2 rows to do, and so is that one, whereas this one's only got 1, so this one's going to be the winner. Yep, it is. Yeah, doesn't matter how hard I try, I can't make this into an exciting horse race. What I did realise was, while I was filming this, is I forgot to take the delays out of the programme. I could have these mining a lot quicker, and certainly for the next task I put them to, they'll be working a lot quicker than this, although it is causing a degree of lag already. Frame rate is dropping to a degree by having 3 of these all working at the same time. I ought to just check on how full this guy's getting as well. Fairly. So I need to build more logic into these so that when their inventory gets full, they'll actually return somewhere and dump the stuff into a chest or something similar, and also so that they act more intelligently rather than this guy. As you can see here, it's a very simple loop I've got in the program at the moment. It's basically dig down and go forward, and once you've completed... Oh, why did you finish first? You finished 3 before... You were supposed to do... What? 1, 2, 3. You've done 3. 1, 2, 3. You've done 3. 1, 2... Ah! This one should have done an extra one. Why did they not move across one? Something strange is afoot. They've all stopped at the same time, in the same place, one short of where they should have been. No, he's finished the right number. I've got a bit more debugging to do. I'll share the code as far as it is already if anybody's interested, but it's not that brilliant at the moment. What the hell, I'll just bring it up on screen now. I've actually been doing the editing in here. So using the text editor built into macOS instead, so that I can actually use a proper editor, nice easy copy and paste, and also move it from one turtle to another without having to fuss. So it's just got a common function there to show what the format for the command is. It's then got a command to move the turtle down, and it's got error checking in. So first of all, it detects if there's a block below it. If there is, then it tries to dig down. If that fails, then it will return false. So this function flags the fact that it failed to get moved down. If it doesn't need to dig down, then it will just return the value of trying to move down. Okay, and then there's another one doing the same for moving forward. Then the next function is to try placing a tile. Now I've had to bin this one because I was trying to use these polished stone cover blocks, because the floor I've got is all cover blocks, but the turtles do not seem to be able to place cover blocks. I can put cobblestone stone in there and it will place that fine, but it doesn't place cover blocks. It just sort of eats them. Which is annoying, because placing the blocks was the bit I was hoping to get these turtles to do, because it's a pain. Never mind. So this function at the moment is not doing anything. I've commented out the line to actually try doing the placing. It just always returns true. This is checking the number of arguments that was passed on the command lines. It's got a variable for the slot. The idea was it was going to iterate through which slot it was using to place blocks not being used at the moment. It then gets the values that it needs to move, so how many blocks down does it need to dig, how many blocks forward does it need to go, how many blocks wide does it need to move, by converting to numbers the different arguments in the command line. And then if any of those don't return values, so if this 2 number doesn't find that the argument that was passed is actually a number, it returns nil. So if any of them return nil, then again it shows the usage, so you have to pass in 3 valid numbers. And if any of them are negative, it again shows you the usage because they all have to be positive. It then tells you what it's going to do, so it's going to build a floor with dimensions. Yeah, it's not actually going to build the floor because it can't place the blocks, never mind. It then says how many down, how many across, and how many wide. It has local variables for the for and next loops, and for the width, each one of the width, do the loop. For each one, it's got to go forward, do the inner loop. And if it's after the first one, moving forward, then it actually moves forward. That's because it starts with it digs down from the block it's on, rather than moving down and then forward. And each time it tries to move anything, it always has a check to see if it can complete it okay, then do so, otherwise return out of the loop failing. So this is just lots of error checking all the way through, and these are the delays which I forgot to remove. So there shouldn't be a delay of a second there. And then for each digging down, this is the inner loop, so it prints the fact it's digging down, and if it can't go down, then it exits, and then it pauses. Take that one out, and for each one after that it goes back up again. So again, as I say, this is very simplified logic. It would be much better to dig down, dig forward, dig up, dig forward, dig down, etc. in a zigzag through whatever it needs to do. And similarly, when returning, to dig going forwards and then dig going back. But I haven't written it that way at the moment. It's probably one for next time. So anyway, it then returns up to the surface. And again, error checking there to make sure it's managed to move okay, and then it would place a floor tile when it gets to the top, but of course that's not actually doing anything. And then at the end of the loop, I'll need to scroll the whole thing up because the window's too big. Hold on a second. There we go. So at the end of doing that, it then moves back and it keeps going back as far as it needs to get back to where it started. That delay out again. It then moves left at the end of those loops to go on to the next one. And again, it turns left, moves forward, turns right, and then it has another delay in there. And somewhere in there, I've managed to mess up the counts. I think it's this bit. Never mind. So I'll save that back to the turtle anyway. And that one would then be ready to start using again. So that was writing back into the memory on here. And if I just check edit floor, you'll see that those changes taking the delays out have been saved back directly into the turtle. So the cool thing is using these computers is that you can actually edit the source text, edit the files that are on the operating system from within the host operating system rather than within Minecraft, which makes working with things much nicer. Now, the other thing just to note is I noticed earlier that if this brightness is down, this really isn't very well lit up despite all the torches and lamps and things that I've put up there. And while I was busy programming in these, I did suddenly get ambushed by a zombie. So these lamps at this distance apart is not quite enough. Never mind. I'll switch this back to fully bright because at least it looks like I've turned the lights on then. Yeah, so quite a lot to do on these still, and it's really irritating that after putting all the effort into building 3 of these little blighters. Hello, what's that tunnel? Oh, that's my back door into there. Yeah, after spending all the resources and time to build 3 of these things, they can't actually help me with the bit that's the difficult thing, which is the going around placing the floor blocks. Because being these part blocks, it's a pain. You can't just set it going. Yeah. Ho hum. See you later.